part of the session. The new jugglers. Usually we see a juggler in a circus or such environment, but the situation has turned around, or we are in such situation where we are supposed to juggle a lot of things at a time. And this lockdown or this pandemic situation has put us in that spot to juggle a lot of things. And we have our guest speaker today, Tonte West. She will be taking us through the session. And I introduced Tonte West. Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you. So that is Tonte West for you. She is a cat coach and she's been a facilitator, and she currently hails in Bangalore, and she is our guest speaker today. I welcome you, ma'am, on behalf of Techno School. I'm extremely happy to see your broad smile. We have, as we speak, the number of participants are going high. Ma'am, I also hand over the session to you and take it forward from here on. And before ma'am takes over the session, teachers, there is a poll. A poll uh, you will be able to see on your screen or in your chat box. If you're in YouTube, you can see it just popped up on your screen. If you answer the question, we will be taking the session forward. You can either go for yes or no. And were you able to see a question on multitasking? Is there a poll on that? Ma'am, do bear with us. We are making things right as we speak. Okay. Is multitasking good? Yes or no? So click on yes if you feel that it is good, or click on no if you feel that it is not good. And say submit. You will be in the video. Okay. Ma'am, over to you. You can take forward from here on, and you will be able to see the poll result on your screen as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon. It's a little weird being called ma'am, but yeah, I will take it. Very good evening to one and every one of you present here. It's such an honor for me to be part of this webinar, and moreover, being able to be the guest speaker on it. So, to tell you a little about myself, I think Sharon has already given you a good idea of who I am. I was Tonte West. I have, after I got married, I became Tonte Varghese. So for those who can't get my name as Tonte, you can just call me Shubha, yeah, because I grew up in Chennai. I did my schooling in Chennai, and yeah, that's more about it. I think I went to the same, I am from the same department as Miriam ma'am. Miriam ma'am was my HOD, and I'm so proud to be her student and become a teacher myself. So, without any further ado, I'm just going to jump into the topic for today. And I'm just going to share my screen and we'll go on from there. Okay. Okay. Sharon, can you see my
Yes,
screen?
I can see the screen.
Okay, good. Okay, so the topic for today is basically the new jugglers. So it's basically multitasking, right? And I'm just going on looking at all of you posting your answers, which is very, very interesting. So let's go into the topic. Um, just give me a second. Okay, there. So, what is multitasking? Yeah, this is a question. I think this is something that we are working with. I think teachers for a long time have been working with something with multitasking your work in everything, but now it's become the need of the hour more than ever. Yeah. So, what is multitasking? According to Google, Google is the best place to search for answers. So, according to Google, the definition for multitasking is, just give me a second, I don't know what is wrong. Okay, so it is defined as it's the performance of more than one task at the same time. Yeah. So who better do this job than you teachers? Because I think teachers have the greatest job on the planet, because you are the reason we have leaders, you are the reason we have doctors, you are the reason you are the main people who actually bring about all the change that is happening in the world, because we get leaders because of teachers. And the work teachers work is increasing and is complex, and and the intensity of your work is increasing because of the current nature of the change in environment and the change of our traditional methods of teaching. Yeah. And you are forced to take up more roles, even though you play these roles very predominantly and very indirectly, but now it's become more and more that you have to bring up these roles where you're a disciplinarian. Yeah, teachers are the disciplinarians or the next disciplinarians, but right now your role as a disciplinarian is a little bit like foggy, but you still are a disciplinarian. The next one, you're a parent for a student, because they call teachers the foster parents. Yeah, so there are a lot of students who relate to a teacher more better than they can relate to their own parent. Yeah. And then you're a planner. You basically have to plan your day, you have to plan your works, your curriculum, you need to plan how you're going to teach your class. And the next one is you are a resource. The students may not find their resource from, like most students, like example me. I was not the brightest student who really liked sitting and taking books and reading, but my resource were basically my teachers. Whatever my teacher said, that was basically what I just mugged up, or that's something that I understood, and they were my resource of information. Yeah. And then information provider, again, you provide information on what is right, what is the current situation, what are the statistics of things, and how is the world changing, and how the school is performing, or you're the information provider between students, and you're a middleman between the management and the student and the parents. You're a diagnostician. Basically, you have to actually know what your student is going through. Sometimes the parents don't understand the child as much as a teacher understands the child. Because most of the time, the teacher spends more time with the student than the parent spends more time. Yeah. Then you're a safe haven. Some students, they don't have, their home is not a safe haven, it's not a safe place for them. It's more, their teachers are more someone they confined, and they're someone that they can actually open up to. And you play a lot of roles. I can go on and on. Like an administrator, you play the role of an administrator, of a counselor. You are a role model for a lot of students. You're a friend to a lot of students. You're a mentor. You're a judge at the same time. You're an assessor. You assess how they are doing well. How can the student become better? Are they able to get better? What can I do? What can the student do so that they can actually become a better person, they can study better, and all that you do. Yeah. So, according to statistics, it said that a teacher takes more than 1,500 educational decisions every school day. That is, every day that you're working in school, you take about 1,500 plus decision, which adds up to about four educational decision every minute, which makes you teachers the masters of multitasking. Yeah. So you can ask, is multitasking a good thing for teachers or is it a bad thing? So according to your polls, um, according to your polls, a majority of you have said multitasking is a very good thing to do. Only a few of you have said no. But the truth is, multitasking is not a very good thing in reality. Why? Because you see, our brain's work is not meant to do a lot of things at the same time. Okay, so you've already taught your students that the brain sends signals to the bodies, and then that sends back signals, and then that's how it works. And when your brain is designed in such a way to do one thing at a time, that is, receive one signal at a time and then carry out the task. But when you're multitasking, what happens is you tend to do a lot of things. You're sending so many signals to your brain that it just doesn't work. And at the long run, what happens is, it says that 40%, there is a 40% of drop in productivity of an individual. So a lot of you might be thinking, oh no, it's actually really good. But the truth is, your overall productivity drops when you multitask, because you're not being able to give your all in one thing. You're all over the place, you're all scattered all over. So your productivity also reduces. Okay. And then a 10% drop in IQ and in creativity, because your brain becomes so overloaded, it's working so much overtime that there is no time. It's just like so bogged up that it cannot be any more creative. It's just so worked up with the current whatever task that you've already given. It's like work overload. Yeah. And 50% more chances of you doing a lot of errors. And this is very, 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 this is something that we all might have gone through at some point, because you will be, when you say multitasking, you tend to say, okay, let me do corrections. Okay, I'm going to do corrections now. And then you'll go into, okay, I have to go and do like for women, especially, I know even men tend to multitask, but I'm just going to give you examples has from my own point of view, because it's more easier for me to give you. Because, so for example, now we're multitasking and I'm going to be cooking and I'm saying, okay, let me just go and check this out. I'm going to make a list of things, and then by the end of the day I would have forgotten about the cooking, and then I'm not able to go there, and then I'm actually not able to concentrate on my cooking. I'm not able to give my full time into whatever correction, or if I'm doing, I might make a mistake. Yeah, and because of this even mounts up to stress is so much that at one point you just feel so exhausted and anxious, and all this happens. Yeah, so multitasking is not really good. And you might say, but well, there are people I know that are actually good and effective at doing multitasking. I don't think what you're saying is right. I'm very sure a lot of you are thinking that right now as I'm saying it. But the truth is, and according to studies, it shows that only 2% of us can multitask efficiently. Yeah, isn't that a little shocking to think that only 2% can do it? So am I so you can ask me. So now are you might be like, so should I multitask or should I not? What are you trying to say? Are you trying to why did we come today? Yeah. So don't worry. So I'm just going to be telling you how you can multitask. Yeah. Multitasking does not mean doing two or three tasks at the same time. Yeah. So I will explain it as we go on. Yeah. So I didn't want it always to be easy. We talk about gender equality, right? So I didn't want it to be only women's photos. I wanted to bring in the men as well, because I'm very sure there are a lot of you teachers, men, who actually multitask, take care of babies, help with the cooking and the in drying clothes and doing housework as well as working. So it's just a very this picture actually shows how it is, how we teachers actually find it so hard. And you start the day very happy, bright, ready to face the world, and your spirits are all high. But when it's almost at the end of the day, if you look to the picture on your right, you're exhausted. You just don't know. You're like literally, you don't want to look into a laptop. You don't want to look into a phone. You're so exhausted. You are so irritable at some times because you might not have finished what you wanted to finish. You would have wanted to do something. You wanted to go somewhere, but it's just so stressful, and you're so bogged up with all these cares that you just want to just have a rest and a time out button, and you wish there was a pause button that this would just pause for a while and you can take a breather, but sadly it's not. And so what happens is we tend to get stressed. Yeah. And I want to emphasize a little bit upon the stress that is caused by multitasking. It's not just multitasking, it's just the stress caused by working from home. And then we'll go into how effectively you can multitask. Yeah. So, what are the stresses that are caused by working from home that most of us teachers face? Number one is lack of structure. Yeah. So when I say lack of structure, what do I mean? You see, when the lockdown started and when they said that teachers can start working from home, and like when they told in my organization, when they told us you can start working from home, I was so overjoyed. I was over the moon. I was like, yay, I get to spend some time at home. I'm going to be able to spend time with my son. I'm going to be able to cook. I'm going to be able to get up whenever I want. I'll be able to do work on my time. And then after a week went, and then it started getting a little bit annoying, because so I used to teach music. Yeah. So when I started teaching, and it was so different and difficult, because you're not able to reach out to the student the way you want them to listen to you, or the way you want them, um, you want to be able to let me put this properly, the way you want to deliver it to them. You actually have this idea that, okay, this is the way class should go, but it's just not working, because it's not the way you've been used to. Yeah. And it's so annoying when you are not in control, because it makes you feel so helpless, and it makes you feel so boxed in that you just feel after a point you just want that structure. You just want to be able to, like, for me, I just give you an example what it was like. So when I had to take so I used to teach vocals. That was something I took as a experiment for myself. So I started teaching vocals. So I would want, so when I was in a room, in a classroom in the field, I used to be able to tell the student, okay, no, don't do this. Open your mouth. You have to do this. I'll be able to touch them, or I'll be able to show them. But online, it was so hard, because I'm not able to tell this student, okay, this is what you need to change, or this is how you need to keep your head. It started becoming so much of a stressor. And I'm very sure a lot of you here are finding that has a problem right now, because you feel so helpless, because you're not able to actually communicate. There's no this face to face talk. You just miss that so much. Yeah. And that is one reason for a stressor. Yeah. The second one is too many distractions. Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning. I have a 2-year-old, and it is not easy. Yeah, because there is so many distractions when you're teaching class. Suddenly And if you are a mother, if you're a parent, you will understand what I'm saying. You will see you will have kids running into the room suddenly with the, and you will not expect it. It's not something that you want to happen, but it just happens. And because you're working from home, you have guests coming in, you have family members coming into the house, you have the TV playing in the next room, you have children running around, you have a loud construction work near to your house, you have so many things. I can keep on naming things. You have so many distractions, and because of that you get so stressed out. And if you're a person who's a perfectionist, who expects things to be done really well, you will find it, this will stress you so much, because it's just too much for us to go through. Yeah. Then there is another thing where that you, it's so difficult to set boundaries. Yeah. When I say boundaries, what do I mean? Like when you were working in school, when you were going to school, you always knew that, okay, 9 to 5 or 7 to 2 or whichever timing you have, that was school time. And after school time, I come home, I get a relaxation time. Yeah, even though you are doing paperwork, that's different. But you knew that 9 to 5 is school time. After this, I come home and it's for me to rest, or it's for family. But now what is happening is, because of all this current scenario that has happened, we don't have a boundary. We don't have we're not able to differentiate boundaries between our work and our leisure time. Yeah, work time and leisure time has overlapped so much, and it's becoming such so much of a stressor for all of us. And because of that, what happens is we tend to lack focus. Why? Because see, when you always have this goal, like when you're in school also, you have this, okay, this is what I'm going to this is what I'm going to finish today, and this is my goal for today, and you have this laser focus. Yeah. But when you're working from home, because of all the distractions around you, because of because of the lack of the what to say, because of feeling so helpless and not in control, we're not able to focus or give our full attention or full focus into doing things, and we tend to lose a lot of focus. And because of that, most of us are so stressed out because we're not able to give focus. Yeah. And then stress is associated with mobile devices. Another funny thing is, there's the study done by UN was that um, the working from home does not cause as much as stress as working on site. But the stress that is caused, why working on home has become so much stressful, is because of the various mobile devices that we have to use. Because a lot of us are, let's just face it, we're not very technically advanced or forward. Yeah. So when they bring in different apps and softwares and all that, that itself is such so much of a stressor, because you have to first have internet, and if the internet is not working, what do I do? How do I go on? It's just so much of a stress. Yeah. And most of us are just going through so much of stress, and it's just so hard. So my again so what do I do? How do I actually manage the stress? Yeah. Um, do I multitask, or how do I multitask? So what you can do is, number one is, whenever you are stressed, okay, I can't tell you. So now you might ask, but you just said that multitasking is wrong, and now you're saying, how do I multitask? What are you trying to say? You might ask me this question, or most of you might be thinking that. Um, I would say that it's just pointless of me saying, okay, the big solution to the problems of multitasking is basically, the big solution is don't multitask. which is really a no brainer because all of you are forced to multitask because you have so much of work. Yeah. So, what can you do? Yeah. What can you do to reduce stress, or how can you multitask much efficiently? Because all of you are multitasking in one way or the other, and hats off to all of that. Yeah. So, the first thing first is you focus on one thing at a time. Yeah. So multitasking does not necessarily have to be that doing two, three things at the same time. Yeah. You can actually do a lot of things, but focus on one thing at a time. So get one thing done and then move on to the next one, and then move on to the next one. Yeah. Don't do two, three things at the same time. For example, let me just give you an example. Is if you want to let's say correct papers, you want to send out, like, what to say, feedback to your students or to your parents, like a report card and all that. Don't mix everything and then say, okay, let me do this. Okay, I'm just going to jump from this to that. Okay, I'm going to pick up a work call. No, I've been given a workload where I have to finish my notes of lessons. Let me do that. And don't do that, because this will lead to more problem, because you might think you'll be productive, but at the end of the day you will get everything done half, and you won't be satisfied with yourself, nor will you be able to get your work done properly to the extent you can get it done. The next one is segmenting your task. Okay, so if you say, okay, Tonte, this is just not working for me, I can't be doing one thing at a time and then moving, I need to do other things at the same time. Yeah, so what do you say? So I would say segment your work. For that, you need to plan out. So for example, if you take out your plan, if you're going to work today and you decide, look at the job. So let's say for work A, work B. I'm just going to give it A and B. I'm not going to say anything because it's going to be more confusing. So let's just say A. Okay, work A. So you should take out work A, sit down before and just think, okay, how can I break down work A? Can I break down work A and do it in parts? Can I do it separately and little by little in chunks and then get my work done? If you can, then fine, do that. Just divide your that particular work into smaller chunks so that you can do it in so you don't get bored just doing one job at a time. But segment your work and do it. The next one is multitasking with the Pomodoro technique. So Pomodoro technique is basically you work for 25 minutes, take a break, 5 minutes, just relax, and then again you start your work. So how do you multitask? So you can do this. You can make out a plan, put out a plan sheet for yourself, and say, okay, I'm going to do this work today, and so I'm going to sort of plan. So work A, B, C, D, E. Yeah. So I'm going to do A, and then for 25 minutes, and then I take a break, and then I do work B, and then I take a break, and then that way your mind is already set, your brain is already set, and already you know that you already put out a plan, and your brain is already organized and said, okay, this, and then because there's a 5 minutes break, you just relax completely. You don't do anything. You don't use devices. You don't do anything. You just relax, rest, so that you can do your next task. That way, you do not become unproductive, whereas because you rest your brain and then there is time for it to actually move on to the next task. Yeah, so you can do this method if you feel that way. Multitasking at work with the right combination. Yeah, so multitasking. Sometimes, so for example, now if you say, okay, I need to listen to a webinar, or I need to listen to a school note. If you have a video that you have to listen to, you can cook and have an audio book on. Like if you need to do a lesson plan and you need to plan your how to teach your students, you can always do an audio book and you can cook, because an audio book doesn't need you necessarily to sit in front of a laptop or a computer. Then, if you have any problem solving that you need to do, you can always take a bath and think about solutions to change your problem. Yeah. So that is something that you can do. Then the next one is distinguishing multitasking tasks from those that require pure focus. The lot of mistakes that we do is we always see there are certain tasks that you need to give your full attention to. Yeah, you can't do that with something else. So a good example that everyone could relate to is driving. It's a very common example, but it's just an example that I thought of. So driving, you cannot drive a car and speak on the phone. It's just going to end up in an accident if you don't do it properly, because you need to concentrate completely on the road. Yeah. And the same way for work also, there are certain things. So for example, I think for teachers it would be when you have a video call with your headmistress or with an administrative person, you can't be saying, okay, I'm going to correct papers and I'm going to be looking into the screen. That is just not doing it, because you need to give, if it's an important meeting, you need to give your all in all, because you might miss out some important facts or information that you need to collect. Yeah. So distinguish multitasking tasks from those that require pure focus. So just do tasks that has to be done, just as separate tasks, just do it separately. Don't jumble it up with everything else. Yeah. Minimize distractions. How minimizing distraction, I know it's not very easy to minimize a distraction, but what the best you can do is always finding a small corner of your house where um, you know that, or a room where no one else comes in, the room where you can't hear too much of the outside noise. You just have to try minimizing distraction. That will help you multitask much better. Yeah. And then plan ahead. I think more than all the other points, this is a very, very important point, because I would say it's very, very helpful. And it really is. Personally, I really love this point because it helps you put out a plan for the week, and you already have an idea. Like if you plan the day before what you're going to do the next day, and how you want to work your work and how many hours you're going to plan. It might not be the perfect plan, but it's better than nothing, because you can actually navigate your way through everything else. The next one is, okay, so this is very, very, I don't know if most of you teachers relate to this, but how do you go from this to this? A lot of us just wish we could just look all that and be able to handle everything and be perfect. And it's not that you can't handle it and you can't be that. The ways that you can do it, and sorry, I'm just saying it's for all the super moms out there. I feel even dads do it, but in our Indian context, I feel the mothers do this more, and teachers, hats off to you. You're being amazing mothers. And so, what all can you do if you have children at home? What can I do? I have a toddler, I have a child. I also was struggling with this particular thing, because I didn't know what to do, because my son would start suddenly screaming and running into the room. And it was so embarrassing most of the time, because that the student's parent is sitting right behind the laptop, or the student's parent is somewhere in the room, and they can hear, and then they have this thing of saying, oh, what unprofessional teacher. Yeah. So, and that is actually very stressful. It makes you just go off your heads. So the things that actually will help you mothers and parents who are taking care of children or toddlers that are younger than 5. So something that can help you is setting up a nest for little kids. Yeah. So a nest is basically a place where the child can have their own space, like their, what to say, la la land, or their fantasy land. Like, so you can have toys that the child likes, the snacks that the child likes, things that like books that the child likes reading, um, and even iPad if that's okay. I know a lot of you may not be okay with it, but trust me, TV, iPad actually helps. You can have educational videos for your kids that you can actually put aside so that it will keep them occupied and it will let you work more effectively. The second one is creating a flexible schedule. Yeah. So when I say a flexible schedule, what do I mean? Is that for a week, this actually really is helpful because personally it has helped me as well. Where you make out a plan for how you want your week to be. I know for teachers it keeps on randomly shifting and you have calls randomly, but you will have a skeleton idea of how your week will go, what timing is classes. That is going to be always a set work timing, I mean work routine for you. So you can actually plan out your week, plan out your meal plans. For a week, you can, like for example, you can go Mondays a sambar, Tuesdays rasam, and then khichdi, whatever. So you have a meal plan for the week. You have to have a flexible schedule so that even if you have work that suddenly comes up, you are able to actually maneuver, I mean, get it into your schedule because you already have a schedule where it's flexible enough to change things around at home. Yeah. And then the third one is establishing a focus time for each day. A focus time basically it can either be for some people who like working, some of you like working early in the morning, some people like working in the night. So try to find a time that is best suited for you, where when the children are sleeping, when you have time that you can actually focus to work, and that should only be work time. So you have to decide whether it's morning or night, like for your paperwork, for all that you do at morning or night. Then the fourth one is making space for the negative emotions, the negative moments. Most of the times people say, "Oh, you should not say that. Oh, my day was bad. What will people think?" I heard this even in the last webinar. Also, ma'am was talking about. You're not able to share your how you're feeling or what you're going through, the negative aspects of your day, and that itself is causing you stress. Don't be afraid to share it. Just share it. Just tell it, okay, today my day was not good. Today this happened. That helps you to relieve stress, and it will help you to be more productive. Yeah. And then don't forget to search for the positive. Yeah, there's so much of negative that will happen. Trust me, it's so hard. It's very easy to find a positive on the great days and the good days, but it's very hard to find positive things in days like this where you're so stressed out and you just want this to stop. You just want it to just at least for a second just stop. But you just have to find the positives because it says the studies that says being happy actually helps you being more productive, and it helps you be more in the moment. Yeah. So try to find the positive, the small things that actually will brighten up your day. Have a designated workspace. Yeah. So in your house, just even if you don't have a big space where you have a separate room for work, even if it's just make a corner, the corner of your house or whichever place you allocated, just allocate it for work. When I say work, only work should be done there. So if you're going to open YouTube to check out videos just for relaxation, get up from that space and go out and watch a video. Because when you keep on doing that, what happens? Your brain gets accustomed to it, that you only tend to work at that space. It's good that you do that. It's not easy, but you can do it. Then don't forget to take care of yourselves. With all the hustle and bustle and the juggling of things, mothers and you tend to forget to take care of yourself. You forget to, I think even fathers do that. I think you tend to forget to take care of yourself. You forget to sleep. Please take care of yourself. Yeah, and give yourself a break. Yeah, I mean, for perfections, I know teachers are perfectionists. You love everything being in order, everything being spick and span and all that. But right now, it's okay if you don't have to be perfect. If you cleaned your house up, it's okay as long as the house is clean. That's job. With having kids running around and everything around, it's okay to just give yourself a break and say, I've done my best. Yeah. Then how do I stay level headed in our current situation? Yeah. So these are some things that I feel would help you as teachers. First thing is chief learning officer. We'll go from the right to the left. So the chief learning officer, be a chief learning officer. That is, be ready to learn. Yeah, anything and everything, just be open to learn. You need to learn different, because right now with the new softwares coming in, with everything being online, it's going to be a little hard. So just be happy and ready to learn, and be out there to learn. Then build relationships. Building relationship, I think even in the last webinar, Miriam ma'am was talking about having a conversation, just a call with your student. uh, it actually works. It takes you a long way. I know it's a little out of the way that you have to do it, but it's really good that you build a relationship with your student, and you keep in touch with them, and you get to know how they're going, what they're going through. You don't have to do it every day, but just make it a point to like just talk to them randomly. And not only with your students, even with your colleagues, even with people that can help you grow in your profession, who can help you build relationships. Then be connected. Nowadays, because of this because of the pandemic, all of us have become so isolated, and we've isolated ourselves so much. We don't have this socializing group. So take socializing into your hand. Connect with a group, connect with your colleagues over WhatsApp, or have a whatever it is, be it emailing or even just a FaceTime also. Just be connected with people, and people with the same like-mindedness as you, and reflect on yourself. Reflective. Be very reflective. Being reflective is very important. At the end of the day, always ask yourself, was this good what I did? Do I think I can do better? What can I do? What was wrong and what I did today? And all that, just try to be reflective of your own self. Be open and flexible. Always be open to criticism from your colleague, and from your authorities, or even sometimes it can come from your own students. Just be open to constructive criticism and be flexible. So for example, if there's something new that comes into the picture, like if your administration throws something new at you and says, okay, today onwards, this is the way you're going to do it. Be open, be flexible to learn, to try new things. Yeah, it'll help you in the long run. And then understand the true art of teaching. Yeah. I think that's one thing that is very, very, very important, that a lot of us tend to just brush it off, because see, our students tend to learn in different ways. There are four different ways of learning. So one is visual. You have in your classroom, you always have a visual learner, an auditory learner, a kinesthetic learner, and then you have a person who is just a narrative. Yeah. So you should be able to cater to all your students if you want to be there. So you should always try to understand the true art. So find different ways of how you can actually bring out this teaching, how you can teach your students in different way and understand it, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy that process of learning how to teach different type of students. And then being collaborative. Always try to join hands with people who can help you grow, who can help you we can help you with different technical things. Like, for example, one of your colleague can be really good at online stuff, whereas you're not as good at it. There's always a, what to say, one person is good at something and you're not good at. So always be collaborative. Just and try to collaborate with people with strengths, and try to get help. Don't be this isolated island that I can do all things on my own. Try to get help, because it makes your job easier. Yeah, and be curious. Be curious to learn. Be curious about your students, how they are, how is are they learning something? Are they able to grasp what I'm saying? Can I do this better? Be curious and have a growth mindset. Don't be happy with where you are. Just always have this growth mindset that, okay, I need to get better. I have to. Uh, I need to grow. Always have that mindset. Yeah. And I would like to end this with this saying, a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches the heart. Yeah, it's very true, because in my life personally, I've had teachers who have done this, who has taken my hand, opened my mind. You don't have to literally take their hand, but just being there for them. Some teachers that I still remember, my fourth standard, I was really bad at Tamil. I was the worst in my class. I used to get zero, no, I got 16 out of 100. I still remember in fourth standard, and my teacher gave me very good. I was so happy at that point. But till today, she's always been in my life. She's someone that I will never forget, and she's someone that has always, even though I have grown and I have nothing to do with that subject, she still keeps in touch with me. She still has helped me. She's mentors me. She's one person that she has touched my heart in such a way. She's opened my mind in so many ways. I hated that subject so much. I mean, I hated it even growing up, but she made that class bearable to sit in. You see, like even Miriam ma'am, for an example, even though she was my HOD, she always made us students feel that we were special. Yeah, but she was always strict. When she had to be strict, she was strict. When she had to punish us, she punished us. But she always made us understand that we are special, and that we need to grow, and we need to be explorative, and we are good enough for ourselves. I think that's something that you don't have to always be there to do it. Just knowing that you can always just talk to your students, you can always find ways to just lighten the atmosphere sometimes in class, because sometimes you don't know what the student is going through, and because of that they might be difficult in class, and that stresses you so much. But try to just be the best teacher that you can be. I think you all are doing amazingly with the current situation, with the current scenario and situation. But there's something that I would again like to leave you with: is a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches the heart. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. I hope it was useful.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And it was a thought provoking session, I should say. While the poll was on, I said yes, multitasking is good. And you just opened the eyes saying that it's not bad, but you'll have to prioritize and have a schedule so that you can have your focus on one task and then take up the next. Yes. So it is multitasking, but in an effective way. And that is where you come from. We totally understand you. Thank you, ma'am, for that talk one more time. Okay. We're actually open for question and answer session. Ma'am, it would be really good, nice if we can stop the screen sharing and we can
I'm
go.
trying to.
No problem. Thank you. Stop screen sharing is an option there on your screen at the top or at the bottom. Yeah, fine. Got it. Thank you. Uh, so we'll move on to the question and answer session. Teachers, we're actually open for the question, and if you are connected with us in Zoom call, you can post your question to the host in the chat box, or else if you've connected with us through YouTube, you can post your comment to us in the comment section. Fine. I actually have a question, but anyways, we are open to teach the questions. Okay. The question reads, ma'am, you said multitasking will lower our productivity, and also said that only two percentage of us can do it effectively. How do I know that I belong to that 2%?
Well, that's a nice question to ask. But why do you want to waste time thinking about, do I belong to that? No, no, that's again another, it's again another extra work, yeah. But what I feel is, see, these people who are the 2% who are very productive in multitasking, if you actually look at their lifestyle, if you actually study them, you see that they are actually, they will have a plan, they would have, that's how they multitask. It's not like they are geniuses and all, it's just that they have mastered how to do these 7 steps of planning ahead, which we don't do. And I think we all can multitask. It's just, that's what I said, 2% of us can do it efficiently, because it's not that we can't do it.
Okay. So that is the question from one of the teachers. So here is my question to you, ma'am. Uh, so if at all we have a plan and we have a schedule, and like we follow that Prodegmo technique.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't pronounce it rightly, but
Pomodoro. Yeah, Pomodoro.
so
Yeah.
if we follow that tips that you gave us, or the advice that you gave us, if we just take it and start to incorporate it in our daily life, and let's say we put it into practice, and for 20 days and then 30 days, and we get a hang of it, can we reduce the errors, or can we also be effective in multitasking? That can happen, right?
Wait, okay. Let me just understand your question properly. So you're asking me that if you use Pomodoro technique,
Hmm. And
um,
the scheduling, the planning,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
other technique, if we
yeah.
start to incorporate it in our daily life and practice it regularly, can we increase the efficiency of multitasking?
I think yes, it does. Why? Because one thing is, when you do that, you are you see, like, see that technique also that I said. Okay, you do a task, you have a 5 minutes break, and then
Hmm.
you do another task. If you notice that you are focusing, if you notice you are laser focused on one task for 25 minutes, and then you are not, for that 5 minutes rest, you're just resting your mind. You're not thinking of anything, and then you're doing your next task. That will definitely make you productive. And planning, yes, it does help, because you already have an idea of what you're going to do the next day. And even if there's something that comes unexpected, you always know what you can change in your schedule. And that way it reduces your stress levels, making you more productive and creative.
Okay. And I think that answers my question. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being so patient with us in spite of your schedule, the schedule that you had. You made time to give us this talk and also answer the questions we asked. And thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of the